All right, time has come. My favorite part of the show is here. I'm putting Reggie on the hot seat, covering all the latest hot topics in Minnesota sports called What Does It Mean? Let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Check this out. Vikings wide receiver coach Keenan McCardell gave a passionate speech during a draft meeting about picking a different position other than wide receiver with their first pick. What does it mean the likelihood now is the front office does not take a wideout? Or is this just that typical NFL draft smokescreen as we near the draft just a few days away?
Yeah, it's like, Keenan McCardell, look, we respect you. We value what you have to say. But we're going to pick a wide receiver.
Yeah,
like, I think, I don't know. We haven't known Kwesi long enough to know, how he kind of games things. He's a genuine guy, though, from all accounts, from the conversations I've had with him to just everything that he said up until this point. I think he's a genuine guy and he shoots it straight, but also believe much of nothing you hear on draft week. It's just like, there's only so much that you hear on draft week that you can really give any credence to, because there are rumors just flying everywhere. And not that he really has a reason to give us a smokescreen, but when it comes down to it and they're, in the trenches and they're at pick 11 and all the wide receivers are still on the board that are valuable in this draft, you can't tell me that they're not going to at least entertain the idea.
Right.
I mean, you go back to the Randy Moss draft. They didn't necessarily need a receiver with Chris Carter there.
Yeah.
But it was a luxury for them picking up Randy Moss. And what happens? He becomes really one of the best wide receivers in franchise history.
Maybe the best wide receiver of all time.
Exactly. And it's just like, sometimes I know you got, Justin Jefferson, you got, Adam Thielen, and you got KJ Osborne. And it's like, well, they should be set at receiver. But if you have a chance to add a dynamic guy a la Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, and they're there, and the cornerbacks that you kind of really were eyeing were gone, and a trade back is not necessarily on the table, and you're going best available player, I don't see how you don't pick a wide receiver.
Yeah, rosters change too much for me from year to year to not go BPA. You can't just draft what position I need. You don't know who's going to end up developing. You don't know who's going to leave in free agency. You just draft the best talent, and then good coaches find a way to maximize that talent. Going to be interesting to see if this was just a big giant smoke screen they kind of flung out there on social media to the media, things like that, or Keenan McCardell actually does influence their draft decision, maybe just a little bit. Again, very deep wide receiver class in rounds 2 and 3 as well. So it's going to be fun to watch. Minnesota Twins won 5-4 last night thanks to a Detroit meltdown in the 9th inning.
What was that?
Cue the circus music.
Yeah.
And Twins will take it, though. Twins have actually gotten away with a couple. The White Sox had a costly error a few nights ago, gift wrapping a W for the Twins as well, but they'll take it. Byron Buxton went in the lineup. His WAR on a 162-game scale is the highest in the MLB at 8.2, with a WAR higher than the likes of players like Mike Trout, Fernando Tatis Jr., Aaron Judge, and Mookie Betts. What does it mean for the chances of Buxton winning his first ever MVP award, given he can stay healthy this season?
That's the part, man, that last part. And it's like not anything to sneeze at, not anything to scoff at. Like, the dude has to stay healthy to be in that conversation. But what you see is an MVP level player who can dominate games, who can take over, who can just electrify us all. But the health, man, like, just if he only misses 15 to 20 games this year, you got to give it to him. Because what he's shown is that when he is in the lineup, he's going to be a difference maker for the baseball team. And I think, like, he is one of the most electrifying players in all of Major League Baseball. Like, he's somebody that everybody can get behind. Like, his passion, his energy. Like, the dude just plays with such a reckless abandon, which sometimes gets him in trouble with some of these injuries. But, like, the dude is exciting. He's awesome. And I think they're gonna go. It's so funny, like, you know, they signed Carlos Correa and he was supposed to be like the guy for them, but like you got Byron Buxton on the team. You pay him $100 million. Like, they're invested. They're expecting big things from him. And I think everything that we've seen up until this point this season shows a superstar like blossoming right here in the Twin Cities. And it's just a matter of him keeping a reasonable, my grandpa used to say, a reasonable portion of health.
Sometimes the MVP talk gets so complicated and convoluted. Most valuable player to their team. You look at Buxton in the lineup, completely night and day difference. I think he truly is one of the most valuable players in the league, hands down. The Wild lost last night to the Coyotes 5-3. However, the St. Louis Blues lost as well, keeping Minnesota in the 2 seed thanks to a tiebreaker. What does it mean if the Wild aren't able to hold on to the 2 seed with 2 games remaining? I mean, we keep going back and forth about this during this last final stretch of these last 10 games, but is it going to make a huge difference, do you think? I mean, is this the difference between getting out of the first round or not?
Well, I think what it means is, regardless of what happens, they're just going to have to beat a really good team.
Right.
And it's just so funny because it's just like last night you're like, man, can we catch a break? Like, you play the Coyotes, you know, not a great team, a team that you're expected to beat, and it's like you can't even beat them. And then at the same time, it's like the Blues lose too. It's just like toying with the emotions, because you're just like, man, like if they find a way to pull that game out last night and then the Blues lose like they did, like now we have an advantage a bit. But now it's just like, look, if the Blues are just gonna keep, they're playing Simon Says right now. You know, they're losing. The Blues like, all right, we'll lose too. Okay, it's cool. It's all good. And it's just like, dang, no, you're not supposed to do that. Like, we're supposed to like be opposite. Like, I'm supposed to win, you're supposed to lose. But like, you know, I honestly think like in sports, as an athlete, as a competitor, I want to win when the odds are the most stacked against me, because that just makes the victory even sweeter. You know, like if the Timberwolves come back somehow and win this series against the Grizzlies, when, you know, most people write them off, you know, that stat, 82% of the time when teams win game 5, they go on to win the series, and they go ahead and actually win. They overcome those 82% odds and they win. Like, it's more thrilling. It's more exhilarating. You know, if the Blues are going to have that home ice and the Wild have to overcome that to win against a team that they just have such a hard time playing against, as we've seen, they haven't beaten them this season, it makes it even more sweeter when they beat them and go to the next round. So if I'm the Wild, I'm like, yeah, just bring it. Like, we want the smoke, because in the end, it's just that much more rewarding.
I love that. To be the best, you got to beat the best. So who cares if playing in the first round, second, third? You're going to have to beat these guys if you're going to ultimately do what you set out to do, win the whole thing. So again, I like that mindset quite a bit.